Morning to all. Good morning to all. Back in the garage. Let's get into it. Fuel system cleaners. Well, I was perusing the internet a couple of days ago, and they were saying how the EPA is going to dial back on a couple of things, like forcing people to have that stop and go technology that everybody doesn't like, and a couple other things. Well, I really don't try to get into too deep into the government aspect, although it is important. The Lord knows the redesigns of these engines, and then they tell you, oh, just use 530. Why is 530 the answer to everything? And then on top of that, as that car ages, the 530 don't even protect like it's supposed to. That might have worked for the first few years. That might have worked for the first owner. But if you're buying a used vehicle, it's going to take more than 530. I'm just saying. So here we are. If you have to use a fuel additive, what fuel additives should you go with? Because not all of them are the same. Not all of them are the same. So, I've tried a few of them. Valvoline. I got mixed emotions about Valvoline. Valvoline worked to a point. They make good. Valvoline itself as a company makes good products. But I'm starting to feel like a lot of the older products fall by the wayside once they come out with a new product. Like, for instance, the fuel system cleaner did a great job the first few thousand miles. I checked it at 5,000. It was recommended for 6,000 miles, which I thought was a little lengthy, but I checked it at 5,000, and the carbon buildup had started coming back on some of the cylinders. Only got 4, but one of them had a nice thick layer of carbon. I'm like, that's not good. So I waited to the full 6, and yeah, it got worse. Like, how? I didn't have this problem when I was doing it at 5,000 miles and 3,000 miles. But like I said, in the beginning, it worked great. But since they didn't came out with the what is it? The Restore and Protect. The Restore and Protect cleans the same parts as this fuel system cleaner, but it does a better job. So I would say Valvoline Complete Fuel System. If you're trying to gauge how much carbon buildup you can get off, you probably want to go with this. You know, that's assuming if you have a borescope that you can actually get down into the combustion chamber to see how much carbon is built up. If it's a lot, it'll clean it off within 5,000 miles. After that, you need to check it again and see if it's still cleaning. Now, outside of that, outside of the Valvoline Complete, there are others. Redline. I actually have no complaints about Redline. Technically, I think it's a little too pricey. Some people might disagree. But unless you got a coupon, no. Or unless you just want to pay that high amount. The only thing I found that's more expensive is the Royal Purple. I'm not even gonna get into that right now. But yeah, the Red Line, man, it cleans. You don't hear a lot of clatter from the valves. It's just a really good product. And with certain oils, they work together when it comes to certain oils. So yeah, excuse me. I'm hearing background noise. Sounds like a motorcycle's passing by, but they have their music up extremely loud. Where were we? Sorry for the interruption. Oh, yes, Red Line. Red Line. I was saying that with certain oils, it seems like the oil works in conjunction with the fuel additive. It keeps everything all nice and lubricated. The piston walls are lubricated. The piston is moving like it should. Low to no noise. I like it. Would I get it again? That is the subject of this video. And I do this every time I go through so many products. Then we have to do this type of video. Would I buy Red Line? It was the only thing on the shelf. Because a lot of them work good, but they're not as expensive. If Red Line was the only one on the shelf, and I really needed it, would I buy it again? Yes. There's no hesitation. There are other options, but if this was the only thing on the shelf, yeah, I get it. It's not even a question. Now, would I want to pay the full price? That's a personal debate. Damn, I don't want to pay this full price, but I need it. So I might have to hesitate as far as the price. But once I get in my mind that I'd be better off with it than without it, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I realize I did not give the answer to that question for the Valvoline, so real quick, Valvoline Complete Fuel System Cleaner. I don't know. Inconclusive. It works good for the first 4,000 miles, 4,000 to 5,000 miles. After that, you need to check it, because like I said, and maybe it's just because the type of engine I have, you know, turbocharged 1.4 cylinder. Maybe it's the engine. I'm not sure. But my personal experience, I wouldn't get this unless I absolutely had to. And I'm saying that not because it's a bad product, but Valvoline has made advances in their oils, and the oils seem to do the same thing as this product right here. I mean, have you seen the results from the Restore and Protect? Have you watched the videos of different people? What's that, Ford Boss? He talks about Valvoline. That's one of his favorite brands. I'm not knocking it, but from what I've seen from him and other content creators, the Valvoline Restore and Protect cleans up just as much as this one bottle for a longer period of time too. And then when you do change it out, if you use it constantly on a regular basis as your main oil, it cleans up every time you change your oil. So by the time you get to after the fourth oil change, it's almost brand new. So I haven't used it personally, but I've heard good things about it. So with a product like that, you don't really need the complete fuel system cleaner from Valvoline. Now, does that mean you don't need a cleaner at all? I'm not going that far. I'm not going to go that far. Because even though the Restore and Protect cleans the pistons and the piston walls and all that good stuff, you still got to keep your injectors clean. You still have to keep the injectors clean. So, Valvoline, unless I had to, nah, I wouldn't buy it again. Lucas. Some people like it, some people can't stand Lucas. After doing some research, I do not use oil treatments. I only use fuel system cleaners. As I just said about the Valvoline, I'm not buying the Valvoline unless I absolutely have to. Other than that, no, I'm not picking that up again. But at the same time, you still have to keep your injectors clean. Not all gas is the same. Not all gas has the same level of detergents. So, if we're going with the principle of being safe than sorry, yeah, without a doubt, I would get Lucas fuel system cleaner. A lot of people don't like it. I haven't had a problem. I believe you use Lucas every 3,000 to 4,000 miles. I would say, from my experience, 3,000 miles. It's not going to give you some outrageous cleaning from the start, because you got to remember, in the combustion chamber, you got all these gases formed, and you got the piston walls, the cylinder walls, and you got the valves that are opening and closing, allowing air and burnt fuel to escape. That's just one cylinder. That's just one cylinder. And then you got 4 more cylinders. You got 3 more cylinders. Or you might have a 6 cylinder. So it's going to clean parts of each chamber. You might get a little cleaning on one piston, a lot more cleaning on another piston, but then you still got the valves that are opening and closing, so some of the valves are going to get clean. That's why nowadays they tell you continued use. If you use this on a regular basis every 3,000 miles, you'll get better results. That's like if you go to the doctor and he prescribes you medicine, he or she, the doctor is going to prescribe you a bottle of pills or a bottle of liquid medicine. You can't just take 1 teaspoon. You can't just take 1 pill and be like, okay, that's good enough, I'm good. No, the doctor's going to expect you to at the very least, follow the directions and use every pill in the bottle. And then he can evaluate, is it working for you? Do you need a stronger prescription? Can we dial it back? It's the same thing with the vehicle. People will take these products, use it once, and think it's just going to carry them through until they get rid of the car. Unless you're doing it in, like, I don't know, a month or so. Unless you're getting rid of the car the next day, there's no guarantee that it's going to clean up the whole entire combustion chamber. Even with the Valvoline Restore and Protect, it's no magic cure. They tell you with continued use, it will clean up your combustion chamber. It'll clean the piston tops. It'll clean the cylinder walls. So this delusion that, oh, that don't work. I put one can in there and it didn't work. No, it clearly tells you 3,000 miles. Every 3,000 miles. I don't know what else to say. But back on topic, would I buy the Lucas again? Yes, I would. Gumout. I have seen the Gumout brand since I was a kid with my grandparent and my uncles. Gumout as a company has been around for generations. I think at every stage of my driving experience, I have gotten a Gumout product, and I'm probably still going to continue to get some form of Gumout product. But right now, yeah, the all-in-one system cleaner, PEA, I'm not even going to try to pronounce what it actually is, but yeah, you want to get a product with PEA in it. Sometimes they put it on the front of the bottle. Most times they put it on the back of the bottle. And right there at the top, it tells you that this product has PEA in it. PEA is a chemical ingredient that helps clean the combustion chamber. By being a fuel system cleaner, yeah, it's sitting in the gas tank, it's not doing nothing, but it's carried through the system by the gas. Gets to the fuel injectors, cleans that out, gets pressurized into the combustion chamber, turns into a gas, is heated up, and the rest is history. It's going to help break down that carbon buildup. Continued use is going to break down more of the carbon buildup. Again, it's not going to happen all in one tank full. And they don't recommend, I've never seen them recommend that you use it every time you fill up. You use it just like you would use your medicine from the doctor. Use it as prescribed every 3,000 miles. Would I buy Gumout again? Most definitely. I would buy Gumout if, put it like this, if Gumout was the cheapest thing on the shelf and I saw all these products sitting there, yes, most definitely. Now, price-wise, it might be a toss-up between Gumout and Lucas. But if I saw Redline, Gumout, and Lucas next to each other on the shelf, would I buy the Redline? Yes, most definitely. But if I have a choice of Gumout or Lucas, knowing that those two products are cheaper, yeah, I would. I would definitely buy one or the other. I wouldn't have no problem buying the gum out. I wouldn't have no problem buying the Lucas, whatever I'm feeling at the time. Because I believe the Lucas is a few cents more or less than a gum out. I'm not sure. Companies change their prices, so don't hold me to that. But depending on how I'm feeling, yeah, I would definitely get the Lucas or either the gum out. If it was the only one on the shelf, would I get it? Yeah. If it was side by side, like you see here, it just depends on how I'm feeling. Do I want the gum out or do I want the Lucas? I'd go back and forth with it in my head, and then I pick one. But definitely, I have no problem picking up the gum out or the Lucas. Now, if they got some little cheap products on the shelf and the only good name brand is Redline, knowing that Redline is a little bit more expensive, I'm going with the Redline. That's just me. So, in conclusion, you cannot go wrong with either one of these three products. The Redline, the Gum Out, and the Lucas. Whichever one you want, it'll work. But remember, it'll work better over time with continued use. One bottle is not going to just magically clean up everything. Even Valvoline recognizes that one oil change is not just going to magically clean up your whole engine. So if they're saying that, and they make oil, they produce oil all the time. This is their main job. If they're saying it, then yeah, take it to heart. One bottle ain't gonna do it. Continued use as directed. Yep. That being said, I'm gonna clean up my mess, and I'll see y'all out on the road.